So this guy doesn't bathe or he doesn't brush his teeth, but that's not even the worst thing about him. Now the guy's name is Pazuzu, and Pazuzu is around 29 years old when this story starts, and he's living in North Carolina, and Pazuzu, he's a very strange guy. Like, he is obsessed with Satanism and other kinds of dark mythology, and on top of being strange, he also has some serious mental health issues and addiction issues. And so one day in 2007, he decides that he is done taking his medication for his mental illness. He's just gonna stop cold turkey. And because he has a bad habit of drinking a ton of alcohol and doing meth all the time, this makes his mental health issues 100 times worse. And from here, Pazuzu's life just kind of keeps spiraling downward. Like, he's partying all the time, he's drinking alcohol and doing drugs. Sometimes he'll do really hard drugs like smack. Not only that, but he also stops practicing good hygiene. Like, according to his friends, he showers maybe once a year, he brushes his teeth maybe once a year, because he has this weird idea that cleaning himself will wash away his natural immunities or something like that. Now, despite being around 29, 30 years old, Pazuzu still lives at his mom's house with her. And he absolutely trashes his mom's house. Like, he's got friends over all day, and they, like, party all the time, every day. Like, there are no rules. And either he or the people hanging out will throw trash everywhere, they'll just, like, smash shit that's lying around, they'll straight up pee on the carpet, sometimes they'll just straight up poop on the carpet. So this place is a total dump, and it smells terrible because there's poop on the carpet, nobody cleans up anything. Really, these people are disgusting, and Pazuzu's mom doesn't seem to care. She just, like, lets them do it. And on top of all that, they have a bunch of pets who live there too. And these pets all pee and shit on the floor. And this goes on for a few years. These stank-ass hippies who hang out in Pazuzu's poop house, they just sit around all day and do hard drugs, and over time, they kind of become like loyal followers of his. And they accept him as this sort of dark spiritual leader, like a guy they look up to. It's a bit cult-like. But then, around 2009, this guy shows up. His name's Josh. And Josh, he starts partying in this house with the others. And Josh, he's a nice enough guy, but to the others, he's an outsider. And he doesn't exactly look up to Pazuzu like the other guys do. And Pazuzu, he doesn't like this at all. Like, he doesn't like that this Josh guy is someone that he can't control. So he decides that he's gonna make Josh miserable. And one day, when Josh is at the house partying with the others, allegedly, Pazuzu forces him down into the basement. And there, he ties him up. Apparently, he had heard that Josh is some kind of snitch or something like that. And so Pazuzu just leaves him there. And he basically starves him for days, allegedly. This is what a witness claimed. But a few days later, Pazuzu brings Josh back upstairs. And instead of letting him go, he gets a rifle and he points it at him. And blam, blam, he shoots Josh like 10 times, and he unalives him. And what's crazy is Pazuzu doesn't do this when, like, no one is home. There are actually people around witnessing this. Like, his whole party crew is all there, and they're probably high out of their minds, and Pazuzu's mom is there too. I mean, she allegedly comes out of her room, and she sees Pazuzu holding the rifle, but she, like, does nothing. And so anyway, then, later, Pazuzu and his friends, they move the body back down to the basement. And once it's in the basement, they just let it rot down there. And Pazuzu uses cat litter and chlorine to hide the smell. I'm telling you, these are some weird-ass people. Anyway, now at some point, I guess the dead body smell gets to be too much or something, I'm not sure. But eventually, Pazuzu moves the body and he buries it in the backyard in a shallow grave. Now, like I said, this crime had a bunch of witnesses. Like, people saw Pazuzu murder Josh in the house, and some of them even helped him move the body. So pretty quickly, word gets out that this all happened. And one woman calls the police, and she tells them that she knows of a dead body in the basement of Pazuzu's mom's house. So one day, the police show up to the stank-ass hippie poop house, and they question Pazuzu, and of course, he denies murdering anyone. But he lets the police walk around and check the place out. And they go into the basement, and they look, but by this point, the body had been moved and buried in the backyard. So these cops don't see any evidence of any wrongdoing, just a guy with a filthy house, which, you know, having a filthy house isn't against the law. So the police leave, and nothing comes of it. About 2 months later, this guy shows up to the house, Tommy. And Tommy is there to either just hang out in the filth or do some drugs with the others, I'm not sure. Now, believe it or not, Pazuzu's stank ass actually has a girlfriend. He apparently has multiple girlfriends, because I guess these women have no standards. But the woman I'm referring to is this woman, Amber. And so one night, Tommy is at the house, sitting on the couch, and for some reason, Amber's crazy ass gets the rifle, and suddenly, blam, she shoots Tommy, and she freaking unalives him. And Pazuzu's mom hears the gunshot, and she comes out of her room to see what happened, and she sees Amber holding the rifle, and she sees Tommy dead. But again, she doesn't do anything about it, she just goes on with her life. Like, what the fuck, lady? So, since Amber is the one who actually killed this guy, I guess she is now in charge of getting rid of the body. So she texts one of her friends to come over and help bury Tommy. And her friend comes over, and they go into the backyard, and they start digging a grave, and they bury him. While Pazuzu is there as well, and he's just like, I guess, watching and directing the whole thing. And so they get away with it. Like, years go by, and it's now 2014, and Pazuzu is 35 years old at this point. And police still haven't caught on to them. So no one outside Pazuzu's inner circle suspects that there are bodies buried in the backyard. So it seems like he and Amber are gonna get away with these murders and just keep on living this stank-ass party lifestyle. Until one day something unexpected happens. Police just happen to show up at one of Pazuzu's friends' houses. And they're there looking into a completely different crime, something unrelated to Pazuzu. But they question one of Pazuzu's friends. And immediately the friend is like, "Is this about Pazuzu?" And then he proceeds to tell the police all about the two bodies buried in Pazuzu's backyard. So this, of course, gets police's attention. I mean, this is not the first time they've been told Pazuzu's killed someone. So they're really hoping this can now lead to something. Now, I don't know if it's coincidence, but around this time, another friend comes forward telling police a similar story about how he had heard that there are bodies buried in Pazuzu's backyard. And so this kicks off a big investigation, and police come to Pazuzu's poop house, and they search the place, and the place is so filthy and toxic that they literally have to wear full hazmat suits before they go in. That is disgusting. But eventually, they excavate the backyard, and there they find the bodies of both Josh and Tommy. And so, bam, they arrest Pazuzu. Here's his mugshot. Also, bam, they arrest Amber. Here's her mugshot. And bam, they arrest Amber's friend who helped bury Tommy's body. Here's her mugshot. And I couldn't find any information about Pazuzu's mom, but I hope they arrested her too. But anyway, Amber, she ends up taking a plea deal, and she gets sentenced to 30 to 40 years in prison, while her friend who helped bury the body, she gets sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison, while Pazuzu, he doesn't get sentenced at all because while he was waiting for his trial, he actually unalived himself in jail.